YouTube. So today we're going to do a bit of a shorter video reviewing a couple of short clips of another wonderful atheist comedian, Ricky Gervais. And so for those of you who don't know Ricky Gervais, he's been mainstream Hollywood comedian for a while now. He's done specials and been in movies and things like that. He's also hosted the Oscars, where he has, you know, a large viewing where he basically roasted Hollywood. But in general, he is an atheist, a very typical atheist when it comes to religion and how he views it and just some of the things that he says. But the idea for this video actually came from a short video from another evangelical Christian channel, Mike Winger, who did a short video response on Ricky Gervais and this clip. And I believe this clip is a few years old. This is not a new clip, but this popped up on Mike Winger's channel, and he provided a short response to this video. And then I think he has a longer video on his channel. I watched that as well. And really, I didn't really like Mike Winger's response to this video. I thought there were a few better responses, a few quicker, this is kind of a gotcha moment. I do agree with Mike Winger. This is kind of a gotcha moment for Ricky on, a Stephen Colbert. This is a Stephen Colbert interview between him and Ricky. And, Mike thinks this is a gotcha moment. And I tend to agree with that. But really, what Mike does here is he actually operates within the framework of what Ricky's talking about. And I don't necessarily think that's the best approach to this. I think there are a few better approaches to this to really just undermine and not only just kind of quickly address this from just a pure dialectic standpoint, but it would be quick and easy to just address this in front of people. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch Mike's response to this short video, and then I'm going to do my response to this short video and just show that Mike's not wrong. So don't get me wrong with that. What he says here is correct. I may even elaborate on some of the things that he says, but I think there's a better approach, in my opinion. But here's Mike's response to Ricky's interview with Colbert here. So we'll go ahead and get started.
Is constantly proved all the time. You see, if we take something like any fiction, in any holy book, in any other fiction, and destroyed it, okay, in 1,000 years' time, that wouldn't come back just as it was. Whereas if we took every science book, right, and every fact, and destroyed them all, in 1,000 years, they'd all be back, because all the same tests would be the same result.
That's good.
This is one of those gotcha statements that you hear from people that doesn't actually mean much of anything, because Christianity has never purported to be a religion that can be fully discovered through human investigation of natural causes. So it proves nothing to say that you wouldn't discover it in the way you didn't initially discover it. Now, would God be rediscovered? If you could erase everyone's knowledge of God, absolutely God would be rediscovered. People would be out there theorizing about God's existence and arguing from a bunch of different reasons to believe God exists, and they've done this many times in many ways. Now, there's more I can say on this, which is that science, it arose when it did, partly because Christianity.
So, that was Mike Winger's response to this quick, short video and this clip. And, let me reiterate, nothing he said there was wrong. I agree with everything he said there. I just don't necessarily think that was the best, quickest response. There's much easier responses to this without getting into, Christianity and what Christianity claims to be, and automatically almost going on the defensive when it comes to Christianity and feeling like you have to defend what he's saying here. Because what Ricky is saying here is just completely stupid. It's not an intelligent statement, and we'll get into that. But again, that's not to say that what Mike is saying there is wrong. I agree with him. Christianity doesn't claim to be something that, you're just gonna come to the revelation by studying nature and things like that. However, that is to say that a lot of Christians like Isaac Newton thought that they were discovering God through the regularity of nature. Things like that. So I don't think it's a bad response. I just think there's a better response. So here's an unedited version of this clip, and then I will provide my quick responses to this, and it won't take long.
And that's a matter of faith in his abilities.
Yes.
You don't know it yourself. You're accepting that because someone told you.
Yeah, well, but science is constantly proved all the time. You see, if we take something like any fiction, in any holy book, in any other fiction.
Science is not constantly proved all the time. Science is constantly proved wrong a lot. Just saying science is constantly proved all the time is completely false. That's not true at all. There's been fraud in science. There's the reproducibility crisis currently in science right now, where the overwhelming majority of, or the majority of research and experiments that are done in peer-reviewed papers and magazines and things like that, the experiments and those results cannot be reproduced by other scientists, which is the scientific method. There's literally a problem in science right now. So, I mean, just a completely rhetorical false statement.
Fiction and destroyed it, okay? In 1,000 years' time, that wouldn't come back just as it was. Whereas if we took every science book, right, and every fact, and destroyed them all, in 1,000 years, they'd all be back, because all the same tests would be the same result.
That's good.
Oh, yeah, that's really good. That's really good, Colbert. I'm a liberal Hollywood, elite talking to another liberal Hollywood atheist elite. And I'm not saying Colbert is an atheist. But just what a completely false statement. As if a science book from the 1920s would be the exact same science book in 2024. Just completely false. I mean, just for example, here's the age of the Earth. This is just a quick Google search. What was the age of the Earth in the 19th century? Nevertheless, by the 19th century, the geologists included here had reached a consensus for the age of the Earth of around 100 million years old. What's the age of the Earth today? 4.5 billion years old, allegedly. Wow. So in 100 years, the age of the Earth has, just exploded. So the science books have changed that much on just the age of the Earth. That's not the age of the universe. How many genders there are today. Let's look at this real quick. How many genders in 2023? Wow. Below are 107 gender identities currently listed for 2023. That's not different. I'm sure that's not different from, textbooks and or dictionaries from 100 years ago. Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly the same. I mean, the idea that revelation, if there is a God, we as believers wouldn't just, God wouldn't reveal himself again. He revealed himself thousands of years ago via prophets and what they wrote down. He just wouldn't do that again. But the textbooks that dramatically change within a decade, science textbooks dramatically change. I mean, just what a ridiculously stupid statement. It's not a gotcha moment. Unsurprising that the crowd cheered at that. But basically my response would be exactly what I gave. Is just, you don't have to go on the defensive as a Christian to try to defend and let me defend the faith and blah, blah, blah. No, attack what he just said. What he just said was ridiculous. The scientific textbooks, if we burn them all, they would just come back 100 years from now and be exactly like they are today. No. Science books today would be different from science books 30 years ago. What are you talking about? They look completely different. As if everything that's in a textbook is accurate. You know what's really different, though? My Bible hasn't changed in thousands of years. And I know there's a lot of debates around that. I'm probably triggering some people there, but it really hasn't. Biblical texts have been around for thousands of years. There's biblical texts predating, the 1st century AD. I don't have any scientific textbooks that go back that far, that have stayed that consistent for that long. I mean, it's just a completely false statement. Anyway, I thought this was kind of a fun short video. Obviously, just another comedian you should not listen to when it comes to life advice or anything like that. But hopefully this was somewhat entertaining or enjoyable, and I will see y'all in the next one. Thank you.